Aaron, correct?
Yeah,
All right, you're up.
I was a little bit early and
Yes.
how are we doing this morning?
Good, and you?
Fantastic. It's not 100 degrees out yet. My name is Aaron Brinkroff. I represent Washington National Insurance Company. We do provide benefits for employees at no cost to their employer for the event that somebody's diagnosed with cancer, has a bad accident, something like that. The unique thing about what we do versus some of our competitors is what happens when an employee doesn't use our plans. We have what we call a return to premium feature. You know, so if somebody has an accident plan or a cancer plan, the employee doesn't use it, they get all their money back. You know, so I know a lot of the counties I work with, and I work with 46 of them in Kansas, offer something like Aflac or Globe Life. Nothing necessarily wrong with those kinds of coverages. We just do something a little bit different. You know, so in the event somebody doesn't use it, they get their money back, so it creates value for the employee. You know, working with as many counties as I do, I think I have a pretty good understanding of, you know, some pain points some employees, like at Road and Bridge or sheriff's deputy, courthouse employees may have, and I also understand kind of the financial situation as far as their income and making sure we match a benefit to what they have or what they're, you know, what's affordable. You know, because what I've found in all my travels is, you know, if they can't afford to keep it, they won't keep it, so they won't have it when they need it. You know, so this year we rolled out a new critical illness plan, which is very customizable. So we've gotten away from a more cookie cutter plan where one size fits all, where we were able to customize it. So then we also offer a new accident plan with 4 different levels. Same with that, we can customize it to fit somebody's needs. Somebody like myself who's a single parent, I'm a little bit tighter budget, I'm gonna go with level 2. You know, where, you know, somebody in Road and Bridge or maybe a sheriff's deputy, single, no kids, they might go with a little bit upper level because they have a little more income to work with and more likely to get hurt for that matter. So in the folders I provided, on one side are some outlines of the different coverages we offer, because we offer the accident, critical illness, hospital indemnity, and also permanent portable life insurance. Now all the counties I work with have CAPERS. I'm assuming Cheyenne County employees also do the CAPERS life insurance as well, which is great because it's cheap. You know, one of the downsides of it is portability. You know, so if somebody leaves employment, they don't get to keep it unless they have the 85 points. The problem is it gets pretty expensive as well. I don't know if Cheyenne County's had some employees retire recently and look at porting that CAPERS life and see kind of what happens to that premium. You know, it goes from $20, $30 a month to several hundred. So in most cases, they don't keep it because it's not affordable. You know, so what we offer is a universal life. They get to port it after 30 days. So an employee who maybe doesn't have that 85 points, they can still keep their plan. Okay, and the rates don't change. An employee who has that and does retire, a lot of times what we're seeing is they're keeping ours and not the one that's going to be a little more volatile premium-wise long term. Okay. On that life insurance, we offer like what's called a living chronic illness benefit. Basically, it's similar to long-term care. Has some of the similar benefits. It's not long-term care as a policy because that's a kind of insurance, but it's a way for the employee to use the face value of their policy to help pay for those kinds of care costs, help put money in the pocket of the family to help do some, you know, take care of some things. We offer it on a simplified issue, which means we don't ask family history questions. You know, I don't know about everybody in this room, you know, people that have been affected with cancer and heart disease. If you go to Farm Bureau and State Farm, and nothing wrong with those companies, they're gonna ask you about your family. You know, your parents or grandparents still alive, and if they're not, how'd they pass, and that affects somebody's ability to get life insurance, or at least the rates. Ours doesn't do that. We assess our risk across groups and employer groups. You know, so in the case of Kansas, all the counties in Kansas that I work with, and hospitals and school districts, the risk is assessed across there. So we're able to do it with fewer health questions and no family history questions. We actually don't do health exams unless they apply for more than 100,000. So nobody's coming to the workplace, nobody's coming to their house to draw blood and put them on a scale. Okay. On the other side of that folder are just some letters from some of the counties I work with. Sorry, I didn't realize I'll get you a folder as well. So, those letters are from clerks and HR folks that I work with throughout the state of Kansas. Pratt County, I think, is the most recent one from a couple weeks ago. And I was in Osborne County last week. I'm waiting for Amy to send my letter over there. You know, so that just talks about the service. You know, my name is on every one of those letters, so you know that talks about how I interact with employees. So, we have a unique enrollment style, a little bit unique enrollment kind of concept where we schedule specific times. I schedule times like Road and Bridge. I go out and do a presentation first thing in the morning, or sheriff's office, go over and meet with them in their place of, in their offices. What that does is less disruption to the workplace. So I do a group presentation at say 7 o'clock in the morning at Road and Bridge. Those that want more information get more information. Those that don't, they're off to work. So I only occupy about 3 or 4 minutes of their time. So it gets people back to work, and you don't have any graders parked in front of the courthouse, right? I've seen it. I've got, I think, is it Brooks? No, Clark County, their Road and Bridge shop is across the street from the courthouse. Well, you don't want those over here, do you? They wouldn't have to, but, it minimizes the disruption of work, gets people back to work quicker. And also, meeting more in a one-on-one, one-on-two situation. Employees are more likely to engage in a conversation of a benefit that actually would help them. So, a little bit on the return of premium piece. This is just a little bit on it. Since 1995, Washington National has returned more than, it's actually $4 billion now, but I'm still waiting for them to update my sheets. These say $3 billion. Because Washington National pioneered the return of premium thing in 1975. So by 1995, they started maturing, and we've returned quite a bit of money to our policyholders since then. And what we find with employees that have those kinds of plans is they're less likely to make changes from year to year, because now they've gotten money invested in it that they would get back. So Scott, you guys handle the payroll in the clerk's office. So fewer changes for you from year to year once somebody is in a plan, which is the less people think with things, the less likely we are to have, some errors on our side, or somebody forget they have something because they don't change them from year to year. So I know a lot of my clerks like that there's some stability on that, where they're not switching back and forth from company to company each and every year. So I said what we do, we offer that through payroll deduction, so at no cost then to the county itself. But just be able to meet with the employees and offer through payroll. So my question is just, have the opportunity to visit with employees and maybe do an offering, or at least what the next steps would be to get to that point.
So how much are we looking at for like a monthly
Premium. Well, it depends.
I know we've got different aged employees.
Yeah.
And this and that.
Like an accident plan, same price for everybody, whether they're 18 or they're 75. Level 1 accident with return of premium on there, I think it's around $22 a month.
And then how much of that do they get back?
100%. 100% of it minus claims. The caveat is they do have to keep it in place. So, I look at it more like a retention. It's a retention piece for them. So they keep their plans in place, so they're likely to have it when they actually need it. So I know some of the younger folks I deal with, they get something, they have for a year to cancel it because they decide they can't afford it. Well, once they have that return of premium in there, they're less likely to make those changes, so they tend to have it when they need it.
What is the ROP CV period?
Return of premium is every 20 years to age 75. That's just what the name of that rider is. CV is called cash value. Okay, cash value is every 25 years to age 75. So that's a universal sheet we use in 49 states. Each
So
state,
basically you have to keep the policy for 20 to 25 years?
20 to 25 years or to 75, whichever happens sooner. So if you have an employee who's 60, they get all their money back at 75. Somebody who's in their 20s, yes, they need to
Unless
keep
they
it.
have to use it for like a heart transplant or something, then it's used out of there.
Yeah.
So,
Now, if their benefits exceed what they paid in, obviously they don't get anything back, but they got the money when they needed it, when they were going through something. So on our critical conditions, because it's customizable, I've seen rates anywhere from $15 to $50 a month, just depending on what somebody puts together. So, where like you and I probably wouldn't be applying for the same kind of plan. Like with heart disease myself, heart problems in my family are heart attacks. There's no hospital time. It's just diagnosed of heart attacks or fatal. Where somebody who has bypasses and other kinds of problems, we put an indemnity loaded part of the benefit on there, so there's a diagnosis benefit and something to help with surgical costs. So, and the same with cancer. I get the question, well, does this pay if I go to Mexico for treatment? Well, that's why we just do a diagnosis benefit. We'll just give you, set you up with somebody up with a $10,000 or $20,000 diagnosis benefit. It doesn't require treatment. You know, so if somebody's like, you know what, I'm not doing this, or they elect to do some non-traditional cancer treatment, they can use the money however they see fit, because there's a pathology that matches the diagnosis.
Do we have a group that looks at over this kind of stuff for the county, for the,
I met Scott at the clerks conference in Manhattan a couple months back. I know there's a lot going on those days, so.
because I don't know anything about it.
I would like to talk to the clerks that are in here, and if that's all right.
Yeah.
Before any decisions made.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'll follow up with you later in the week or next week.
Okay.
All right? Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Scott. You guys have a good rest of your day.
You too, bud. So, I think they take your premiums and invest it, and they're getting the interest, that's how they're doing it. That would be the only way it makes sense that you would get your premium back when it's
So
over.
there had to be a trick there or something.
Well, yeah, but
Liz, you need this?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
you gotta punch the numbers at
Buying
5%
stuff to you.
over 25 years.
I don't
You
understand.
get your $6,600 back, but they make almost,
Right, but it's like, if you want to play devil's advocate, you've got Aflac that you don't get that money back. Is just gone.
How old are you?
But
75.
I don't know how many people.
Forget it.
What are you trying to say?
It's like you and me, we're not gonna get it back.
I wondered, oh shoot, I crossed out the wrong one.
I know,
You pay up to your 75, what are you gonna get back?
I know if it's similar to Aflac, I had that, and my wife had it in her insurance, and they wouldn't pay me, because they said they didn't know what was wrong. I didn't work for 2 years. And they wouldn't pay.
I've had issues with that flag, and I finally just got a hold of the, wherever the kids were treated, and just got all the medical records, and I said, there you go.
Yeah,
And then they only pay a portion, and it's
Yeah.
like, this isn't necessarily what I thought it was gonna be.
That's what this place too, they pay a portion.
so you'd pay 6,600 in over 25 years. Figure up how much interest they make if they get 5% on all of your premiums. So, it's kind of an interesting calculation. Are they here by chance?
He's not here yet. Do you want to take a break again?
Sure. Insurance is the biggest nightmare.